Hi, everyone. My name is Ashley LeBlanc, and you are listening to Hank's Corner.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another exciting episode of Hank's Corner. I am Hank Jr., your host. I'm part of Hank Jr. Productions, where I'm documenting life's moments through photography, videography, and now podcasting. And tonight we're going north across the border to Canada, and we are talking with Ashley LeBlanc. Ashley, how are you doing today?
Hi, I'm doing so good. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing wonderful. Glad to have you
Uh,
on the show. And I did allude that you're up there in Canada. Tell everybody where in Canada you're from.
Oh, yeah. I am from Ontario. I'm from this very small town called Brantford. It's actually where Wayne Gretzky, the super famous hockey player, is from. If you know who that is. I
Oh,
wouldn't if I didn't live here because
oh,
I know nothing about sports, but pretty cool.
yeah, I definitely know who the great one is. And, I'm a little bit older, so I grew up a little bit more watching him. So I take it then you are not a hockey fan.
I grew up watching it. My parents are pretty big hockey fans, so like I always associate with the Toronto Maple Leafs just, to say that I am kind of a part of it, but yeah, I don't watch too many sports, it's really not my thing, but I respect it and I give a ton of props to people who get it. Like good for them.
And that's okay. But when you talk about people that don't watch sports on a regular basis, I usually hear hockey's the one that they say, I love to at least watch that because it's just so fast, so exciting. And a lot of them
Yeah.
like watching the fights. And you mentioned the Toronto Maple Leafs. My daughter, she's a teenager now, but growing up, her favorite hockey player was on our team, the Philadelphia Flyers. And Wayne Simmons, he actually went to the Toronto Maple Leafs for a while. And we
Oh.
watched him out there. She was so disappointed to see him leave the Philadelphia, but
Aw.
great tough player out there, and I'm glad he did well out there. So if you're not watching hockey, then what are you doing other than music? We'll get to the music in a
Oh,
second.
man. Yeah, it's so funny when I get asked that because it's, like, completely honestly, music is my life, and it's really all I do. Yeah, during like, our lockdowns and COVID, I, had discovered a love for baking, so I got really into that. Like, I can make a fully homemade pie and fully homemade cakes.
Hmm.
So that's something that I really love to do besides music, but honestly, music is totally my number one.
And what's interesting about music is it can take up your whole time because there's so many aspects to it. Not only is it learning how to play songs and singing, but then there's all the different aspects to it. Whether you're going to take this out on social media, advertise, working with mixing, working with recording. There's just so many facets of it. So when people say whether it's a hobby or a hobby that turns into a career, like how can you spend so much time? When it comes to music, it really can suck your time in really quickly.
Totally. It totally can. And like I'm a huge sucker for like listening to lyrics and really analyzing them and like I actually have a huge record collection. So something that I've always loved is like holding a physical copy and like reading all the liner notes and like everything on the inside. Like it's just such a huge part of the whole listening experience to me, I guess.
Yeah, and I wanted to talk to you about that because I know that when you were younger, we'll talk more about you being younger, but when you were younger, you were very interested into the actual vinyls. And I see a lot of posts where
Yeah.
you have the vinyl sneaking in there. And I like that because I see how the vinyls are coming back. And for me, it's
Mhm.
nostalgic. And I started actually had to go buy another record player that I haven't had for
Oh,
years. Because I'm
wow.
starting to collect all the artists that are putting their stuff out on vinyl. Do you have
Yeah.
anything out on vinyl? And if not, are you going to be thinking about that in the future?
Yeah, so, my album is coming out, later in October, and that is going to be on vinyl, and I'm so excited, like, we've got a few test pressings, because they send you, like, testers in the mail, and, like, it just sounds so cool on vinyl. I can't even express, like, how different it sounds than, like, if you were listening, like, on your phone with headphones or whatever. There's just something so magical about it, and I'm so excited to, like, have a physical copy with, like, something that's just meant so much to me throughout my life, like vinyl has, like, it's just so cool. I've never dreamed of having my music on a record, so
Yeah, and that's definitely awesome. And like you said, with vinyl, there's something different about it. I mean, in the '80s, there, the whole thing about the mixtape was kind of cool because you got to record different songs and mix it up together. But whether it's a CD or a cassette or even just streaming now, nothing sounds like a vinyl. There's just something different about it
yeah.
that just makes it great. And so I can't wait for that to come out. As a matter of fact, I'd love to get it when it first comes out. Are you able to tell us what the album is going to be called?
Um, yeah, the album is going to be called Glitter. So,
Okay.
yeah, I'm really excited for you to hear it.
All right. And does that have your song Glitter on there?
It definitely does. It has Glitter and it also has Rhinestone Cowgirl, and it has what, 8 other songs on there? Yeah,
Oh, so
8
it is
other
a
songs.
full-fledged LP. I like
Yeah.
that. Not just a couple of songs, but the full 10. That's awesome. All
Oh,
right, but
thank you.
since it is called Glitter, let's go ahead and play Glitter, and when we come
Yeah.
back, we'll talk some more.
Stop seeing everything wrong with you. Start seeing everything right. You're thinking you're too much or not enough. But honey, mirrors lie. Can
And that was Glitter by my special guest, Ashley LeBlanc, here on Hank's Corner. As always, I am Hank Jr. So, to get to this point where you are, you had to have a start. Tell us, how did you get started? What sparked your interest, and how did that go for you?
Yeah. So in all honesty, what really sparked my interest to, like start writing my own songs and like even pick up a guitar was watching Hannah Montana growing up on like the Disney Channel and experiencing that whole world of like this 13-year-old girl who could go on stage and perform and then the next day just be in high school, and just live a completely normal life. And I thought that was so fascinating. And then through that, I found like my love for Taylor Swift. And she has always been such a huge influence to me. And then with my like music tastes, I would say I've always grown up around music, like my dad plays the drums, and my parents have always been super supportive in me like picking up instruments and trying them. Um, and I even grew up around a few jukeboxes. My dad knows how to fix them.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, I always got to pick like the songs that would sit in them. So I would like look at all sorts of 45s and like pick my favorites and put them in the jukeboxes. And yeah, it's just made such an impact on my musical taste. Like 1 second I could be listening to like Ernest Tubb, and the next second I could be listening to like the Beach Boys. Like I'm all over the map. And I think that's awesome. I think that's how music should be, that you should be welcoming to like every kind of genre
And
if you
I
like
agree
it.
with you, and I like your taste too. You mentioned some of the good stuff that's out there, and you just seem so classic. You're talking about vinyls, you're talking about jukeboxes, and I could kind of picture maybe you have a room in your house decorated with some of this old stuff, and
Oh, yeah.
we don't have to say, but I could just picture that. But
Yeah.
so, what was the first instrument that you learned to play?
Yeah, so I guess voice, but voice doesn't kind of count. So I've been singing since I could talk, but I picked up the guitar when I was, I don't know, maybe about like 7. Um, and like at first, everybody who plays guitar says that, like your fingers hurt and whatever. But I pushed through it. I wanted to quit multiple times, but I stuck with it, and it's my comfort instrument whenever I'm feeling stressed or sad or happy or mad or anything. I always turn to it and play it, and brings me comfort.
That's
It's really
pretty cool.
awesome.
And so, you had that start and then you worked your way up. Here you are in 2020. You're getting the album of the year. I guess the gold album of the year is actually how you say it,
Yeah.
with the International Singer and Songwriter Awards. Tell me a little bit about that and how exciting that was.
Oh my gosh, that was so magical. I absolutely love the ISSA. They are so supportive for indie musicians like myself, and they are so supportive with like anything that you do. And you know I in 2020, sadly the awards wasn't in person, so we celebrated virtually, which was so cool. But like this summer I actually went in person to the awards show, and I got to present a few awards and
I saw that.
meet a bunch of people, and it was so cool. I loved it so much. So I was a judge this year, and actually next year I'm able to submit my music again. So we'll see. But yeah, they are so amazing, and I just love all of the support of like everybody in the association, not just like the people who run it, but the other musicians. Like everybody just helps everybody out, and I think that's super magical.
Yeah, definitely magical and definitely a class act that it is. And I want to go ahead and play another one of your songs a little further back called Rain. Really enjoy listening to that. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit more.
Eyeliner face, walking through the hallways with you. Never thought I'd ever have anything else to do. You really put up a storm without giving me any warning. could it be that you all left me behind? You really put up a storm without giving me any warmth. Oh, rain, what you doing on my parade? The games ain't being played here anymore, and I know you got a million places to be in, people to mess with, but rain, why did it have to be me? It was funny how we had a good run, but nothing lasts forever. Oh, rain, what you doing on my parade? The games ain't being played here anymore, and I know you got a million places to be in, people to mess with, but rain, why did it have to be me?
And you just heard Rain here on Hank's Corner. I'm Hank Jr. here with my guest, Ashley LeBlanc. And tell us a little bit about the song Rain and how did that come about?
Oh my gosh, that was quite some time ago. I wrote that whole album, The Luckiest Girl in the World, going through high school. And to be perfectly honest with you, I had a horrible high school experience. I hated high school. I just wanted to get out of there. I feel like I had so many different interests and I had such a different mindset than most of the kids that I was around just because like I knew what I wanted to do and I loved music and I was different. I was different from a lot of other people. So I turned to music and wrote about it. And Rain was about a situation that I had in high school with a bunch of girls. And yeah, I really wanted a song. I say in the music video, I think that it sounds like a Dixie Chick song, who I love so much. So that was really cool to kind of have that comparison. Yeah, that song means so much to me. And it's so cool that it won like bronze music video of the year at the
Yeah.
ISSAs. Yeah, it's so sweet.
Yeah, you were definitely kicking butt during that time, and that's awesome. And I know you're going to be doing that with your next album as well. But
Oh,
I always
thank
do like to ask about that because I mean the high school years are such a crazy time, and
you.
and you can be on one side of the spectrum or the other. And for most people, they don't always necessarily have a way to deal with it, whether it's the highs or the
Mhm.
lows, or but as a musician, you have that opportunity, whether it is a high or a low, to put that out on paper and to
Yep.
be able to cope with it. Do you find that that's what music does for you? That it kind of is like a therapeutical thing?
Totally. Yeah. I always turn to music to help me figure things out. I feel like I'm honestly just talking it out and it helps me figure out situations or get through something really difficult that maybe like if I just sat here and thought about, I couldn't really figure out, I feel I'm a very, like, visual learner, so I feel like I have to be, like, doing something and being able to see it to, like, understand. So maybe it's just me writing it out or, like, matching it chords or something, but it really does connect with me and it helps me figure out these, like, situations that come up in my life.
Yeah, I've always kind of been a little bit positively jealous about that because I kind of wish that I could express myself a little bit more in that way. But I never had the songwriting talent. I never had a musical instrument talent, and God forbid if I sing anywhere outside of the shower, we have
Oh
a problem
no.
there. So, like I said, a little bit of jealous there, but. Besides that, on the other token of it, you do these videos. How is it for you to do the videos? Do you have a good time doing it, or do you feel a little awkward?
Oh yeah, they are so much fun. Rain was my first one, so I was pretty nervous. But it's such a good video to look back on. But these newer ones that I'm doing, like Rhinestone Cowgirl is my latest one, and that one was so much fun. I sat and bedazzled all these costumes for this video, and
So you did all
I
that by yourself?
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
Oh yeah. So I did that, and like you can I guess I realized how much of a story that you can tell through like a music video, and I never really thought of it like that. I just thought like, oh, it's just me performing. But I think especially with a song like that, you need like a visual representation of that story. And I thought it was so much fun to do that. So I'm excited for the future to see what else I get into with music videos.
Yeah, definitely. And let's go ahead and play Rhinestone Cowgirl here because it is such a great video.
Love the glamour of the Opry stage. I wanna hear about how a good heart breaks. I was born too late for the girl I am. They all said I was crazy and I'll never fit in. Locked myself in my room and played guitar like an opera star. I'd hide what I was doing from those nasty snitches. Girls so mean, they were all just vicious. I was singing Jolene like a country queen, neon and sequins chasing my dream. I love the glamour of the Opry stage.
Welcome everybody back to Hank's Corner. I'm Hank Jr., part of Hank Jr. Productions. Like I always say, I am documenting life's moments through photography, videography, and now podcasting. And on my show tonight, we've been talking with Ashley LeBlanc, and you just heard her latest song. Well, and the video was just released, the Rhinestone Cowgirl. So, tell me, all right, do you have a little cowgirl in you?
Oh my gosh. You know, there's this like country store near our house. Like we don't have a ton of that here, at least. I don't think so. I'm not really a part of the community, but like they sell like all sorts of western stuff and I love it. I've never really like been into like horseback riding or anything like that. But as silly as this sounds, for Rhinestone Cowgirl, for like the single, for the pictures and stuff, I actually went to a farm and got to like hang out with a bunch of horses and I think sheep. And it was so much fun. I loved it so much. I'm like such an animal lover. So maybe I do. I love all the Western wear and especially like the 1950s kind of country stuff. That's really what I wanted to pull with that single. So maybe I do.
Yeah, and when I lived in Texas, I definitely enjoyed riding horses a little bit more. Now that I'm in Tampa, Florida, it's not kind of anywhere around the city, but I don't mind
Mhm.
getting on a horse every now and then. I say that I'm a trick rider, but my wife says no, you're just falling off the horse. That doesn't count. But I definitely do enjoy horses, and it's fun to get out there and do it. Now, you mentioned one of your influences early on was Hannah Montana. Obviously,
Oh,
Hannah Montana
yes.
was the alter ego. If you had an alter ego, do you have a personality or a name that you would have for your alter ego?
Ooh, oh my gosh, I've never thought of that. I don't know if I would because I it was so fascinating to watch all of the like situations that like Miley Cyrus would go throughout her high school experience. And a part of me would probably just prefer to be the pop star. And like even seeing how I kind of had a bad relationship with my high school, maybe that would make it better. So a part of me thinks that I would just embrace the pop star life.
Wow, and that would be pretty interesting to hear if you did actually have a name for your alter ego. But
Oh, yeah.
I've never really thought about that either for myself. But every now and then you
Mhm.
find yourself dreaming that, hey, if I was this or that, and but that's kind of funny there. So
Yeah.
you mentioned that you do a lot of cooking, right? Tell us a little bit more about that.
Oh, yeah. So forever ago, my nana showed me how to make like an apple pie. I am in love with pie. It's like one of my favorite things in the world. And she like taught me how to make the pastry homemade. So I've mastered a peach pie apparently, and my
Mm.
dad like smokes it on his smoker and it's so phenomenal. But like cakes and stuff I love too. I think I've figured out a chocolate cake pretty well, and I made this like lemon blueberry cake a while ago and that's really good. So it's
Yeah,
a
and
lot
I,
of
like I
fun.
said, yeah, and I know that you, like I said, you mentioned it earlier on, but on my podcast, I love to talk about food because
Oh,
I'm just all about eating. So that's why I had to make you say it again. And I love that you talked about pies because one of the things I love about the fall is the pies that come out. I love
oh
the
my
pecan pie. I love
gosh.
the pumpkin pie.
Oh
There's
yeah.
just so many things about the fall and the food that comes with it that I'm definitely looking forward to it. Now, it won't get cool here in Florida until February, but we can still eat the food and enjoy that. So, as mentioned off air, I did tell you that you're one of the artists that's on my playlist, and I want to know what is currently on your playlist.
Okay, so it's so weird because I really do label myself as this country artist, but to be perfectly honest with you, I really don't listen to a lot of country. I have like a few staples and I go and listen to country and then I just kind of listen to whatever. I've been listening to some really different stuff lately. Like Father John Misty, who I
Mm.
discovered, who I love so much. Who else? I've been listening to, like, Oasis and Radiohead, which is, like, completely random, but I've been loving it, and John Denver too, who I've loved
Uh,
forever, but I've been listening to his stuff a lot lately. Yeah, just some different stuff. It's kinda good, you know? I think it's so cool to know a little bit about everything, if
uh,
possible.
Yeah, and I like that too. I mean, you talk
Mhm.
about your days in high school, and I remember being in high school, and I liked a lot of the different kinds of music. And the people that enjoyed like the rap and the hip hop, laughed at me for listening to country, and then the people that listened to country laughed at me for listening to hip hop and rap. So you couldn't please anybody when it comes to
Exactly.
liking all the genres, but it
Yes.
is what it is. Given the opportunity to perform on stage with an artist, who would that be?
Oh my gosh. Well, if it was possible, Patsy Cline for sure.
Mm,
If I would have to choose somebody who is still with us, I would choose probably Taylor Swift, who is
okay.
such
And
an
and
idol of mine.
definitely two females that would definitely be picked over and over when asked that question because
Oh,
they,
totally.
in different respects, but in their time, they definitely really influenced the music industry, and not only
Mhm.
as an artist, but as a female artist as well. So you
Totally.
definitely picked two of some of the best ones out there. But how about over in your area in the Canadian world? Is there
Mhm.
anybody that we should be looking out for that maybe, getting ready to hit it
Ooh.
big that we should check out?
Oh my gosh. Wow. You previously, I believe off air, you mentioned Paige, who is so, so amazing. And I love a bunch of her songs. She has a song about a broken record, and I think that's so clever. So you should definitely check her out.
Yeah, definitely Paige Rutledge. She's a great
Yes.
person. Like I said, she's bubbly like you, and she was on one of my earlier podcasts, and she was actually on my New Year's Eve special last year, where she called
Oh,
in and as we celebrated the New Year together. So the she's definitely a cool person, and one of these days I want to definitely get her back onto the podcast. So, given the chance for somebody to come out and watch you
mhm.
perform at a performance, what should somebody expect from an Ashley LeBlanc performance?
So honestly, I still am rocking these solo acoustic shows, you know. I love to just stand up there and just play my guitar and sing. So you'd be getting just an Ashley experience, so it would just be me. But I would say a bunch of glitter. You know, my microphone stand is covered in glitter. I bedazzled it myself.
Mm,
But for like content and stuff, a bunch of vintage music. You know, like I love Elvis Presley. I sing a bunch of his covers, the Beatles, Taylor Swift,
mhm.
oh my gosh, Patsy Cline. So many different genres and so many different artists. I love to do acoustic covers, especially like something that people wouldn't assume maybe like a female artist to sing. Like I do an acoustic version of Something, like the song Something by the Beatles. And I feel like not a lot of people would assume that like a female could sing that and like play it, but I do. And I think it's cool to watch people's reactions, you know?
Yeah, and that, getting some of that would definitely be great. I could just picture you, and the people to say, hey, where did that come from? But you are definitely all over, and that's in a good way. And like you said, you're filled with a lot of glitter and glamour and that
Yes.
sort of thing. And I don't know if you're familiar with Molly Lovett here in the States. She's out of St. Louis now, living in Nashville, but she loves to bedazzle her stuff as well. We
Oh,
were just at one
awesome.
of her things out there in St. Louis, and she's got her whole guitar. Well, she's got several different ones, but out there bedazzled and all that stuff.
Oh my
So
gosh.
I think you two would get along just fine.
I
But
love it.
so I definitely appreciate you coming on the show. We definitely look
Sure.
forward to your album coming out, Glitter. I'm going to have to get that on vinyl. And for everybody, that's listening, either streaming this or watching it on YouTube, be sure to check out Ashley LeBlanc. You can find her on all the social medias, as well as ashleyleblancmusic.com, correct?
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so definitely check her out and listen to her music and go buy that album when it comes out. But Ashley, once again, thank you so much for coming on Hank's Corner. You were a great guest, and if you ever want to be a guest
Oh.
on Hank's Corner, you're more than welcome to.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you so much for having me. This was so sweet.